Okay, so we're going to go through the Sargent control panel on this video. When you first come to it, it'll be blank like that. It's just gone to sleep. So if it was turned on and you'd got lights and things on, they'd all still be working, but the panel's gone blank, so it's not distracting you and getting on your nerves. So you just touch it anywhere on the screen to wake it back up again like that. These just nice and easily touch. You don't need to press them, just touch them. Power on and off, water pump on and off. Check the tank levels of the fresh tank and the waste tank. Check the battery levels of the leisure battery and the vehicle battery. Turn the ceiling lights on, the outside light. Toggle between leisure and vehicle battery. So ordinarily you'd have the L displayed like it is at the moment, and that means that you're working off the leisure battery. If you change it to V, then you're working off the vehicle battery. So you don't want to do that by accident and just be inadvertently flattening the vehicle battery. But it's handy if you flatten the leisure battery when you're wild camping. As a temporary fix, you can run off the vehicle battery so you can carry on what you're doing. Turn it back off again. And this one at the bottom is to go into the settings menu, so we'll go through that at the end. So once you've pressed and you've made it light up like that, you turn the power on. We want some lights on, so you do that, turn the lights on. The ceiling lights then you individually touch to turn them on. They've all got the spot in the middle, but we'll leave those off at the moment. So if we want to check the vehicle battery and leisure battery, you click on this one, and at the moment it's saying we've got 13.8 volts in the leisure battery, 14 volts in the vehicle battery, and we're plugged in at the moment, so it's showing us that we've got 5.5 amps going in at the moment to the vehicle battery. And we've got, even though we're in the showroom indoors, we've got 0.1 of an amp coming in from the solar panel, just the sun that's coming through the window, which is good. These two toggle between the screen that we're currently on and the tank levels, so you can scroll to see the tank levels and scroll back to see the battery levels, or you can press the home and that always takes you back to the home screen like that, and then check from there if you wanted to. So the fresh tank and the waste tank are both empty. They measure in 25% increments, so it'll either be 0, 25, 50, 75 or 100. Press the home, back to the home screen again. The outside light works the same as that one. That turns the light on outside and the little down lighter below the panel as well to light up the step. Turns back off again like that. So that's the main operations of the master screen. If you press the settings button, get a little bit more advanced, we go into this screen first. Active battery select and solar battery select. If you leave those set to smart, they are actually quite smart and they'll work out what to do. If you turn smart off, it'll only be dealing with the battery that you've got selected. So if you leave it on smart, it'll charge the one that needs it all automatically. And the same with the solar panel. If you did that, for example, the solar panel will only charge the vehicle battery. Or if you did that, it'll only charge the leisure battery. But if you leave it on smart, it'll charge whichever one needs it at any time, so you can just leave it. Automatic tank fill. If you leave that lit green like that, when you try to put your water in with the whale water filler, it'll let the water come in as long as the panel's turned on. If you turn that off, you won't be able to get water to go in. So if you just leave it green all the time, when you turn the panel off, it'll stop it anyway, so it won't be able to receive water. And when the tank's full, it'll turn itself off, but then as you use water, it'll turn itself back on again. But if you turn it off, it won't turn itself back on, so you won't be able to put water in. So just leave that lit up green like that. And the last bit on this screen, the tank heaters, quite clearly look waste and fresh. You just turn those on like that, and that turns the little tank blankets on. They're basically a little 12-volt electric blanket stuck on the bottom of the tanks to stop them from freezing up. So if you're using it in the winter and you've got water in it, you leave those on and it will stop the tanks from freezing up. But if you're not using it and it's going to be frosty, you drain it down and then you don't need to have them on. Next screen along. These are just toggle on and off like phone settings. Just touch to toggle between on and off, look like that. If you leave that set to on, when we came in, we touched the black screen to wake it up, and then we switched the power button in the left hand corner. If you switch it on, and that's in the on setting. All the lights come on when you turn the panel on. It's handy in the showroom for us to be able to turn everything on quickly, but in the real world it's a bit of a nuisance because you don't want all the lights coming on every time you turn the panel on, because it will mostly be daytime when you're doing it, so you'd normally have those in the on position, in the off position. And the awning light, the same thing. If that was on every time you turn the panel on, the awning light comes on automatically, so we'll leave those off for the time being. Next screen, this is just again toggle switches like on phone settings. Key beep is the beep that it's making when I press a button. If I don't want it to beep, I'll leave that in the on off position like that, and now it won't beep if I press any buttons, so I'm going to turn it back on again. Water level alarm is quite handy, especially when you're new to the motorhome. If you have that in the on position as it is at the moment, if you turn the water pump on when you've got less than a quarter of a tank of fresh water, it'll beep and warn you across the screen that there's not much water. And if you turn the water pump on when the waste tank's full, it'll beep and warn you that the waste tank's full. So that's quite a handy setting, so I normally recommend you leave that on. And then these are on the right hand side, that's just the brightness of the screen and how long it stays before it goes black. Because I've got it set to 30 seconds, that's why it keeps going off. If I upped it to 3 minutes, for example, now it won't go blank for 3 minutes, so we'll leave it like that for the rest of the video. Next screen is where you set the clock and the calendar, and it's nice and easy because you do each bit individually. Look, hours up and down, minutes up and down, seconds up and down, and day, month, day and weekday, so you can just change it to Wednesday, just like that. Look, next screen, back to the beginning. So if I press the home button, go back to the home screen, and that's all of it.